All right, folks. On Black Folks Talk, we're back on the climb. It has been raining and raining and raining for many days, and I'm taking the opportunity, taking a chance on a sunny break to get out and get back to work. Now, I have a whole week of videos I've already done on escape velocity, but I have a supplemental idea that came from a gentleman I was conversing with online this week. And get up here into the sunshine, top of this hill, which is pretty much as far as I think I'm going to have time to go before it starts raining again. You do not need everyone to agree with you. Caveat. As long as you are certain that what you are doing and walking in is truth. That is an important caveat. But leave that off for right now. Why do you not need everyone to agree with you? Well, let's do this. How many successful people in your community or anywhere do you see that make decisions by the committees of their friends? People that they are totally comfortable with. When they have to make moves to really move things, they may have some wise counselors, but the kind of people who are always talk about, well, I talked to so-and-so and so-and-so. I talked to so-and-so and so-and-so. And they said, how many of those people tracked over time do you see having success in their life? This is Grown Black Folks Talk, right? What I'm about to say is true across the board, but there's a special angle to it. Generally speaking, people more concerned with their comfort do not have people around them that challenge them with new information, new ideas, because change can be very uncomfortable. As humans, we love stability. And that's just the way that is. It's part of being human. Pardon the wind. Let's just walk into the west for a little minute. All right, hold on. I gotta check. Yeah, it is time to head back. It is totally gray out there. Okay, thunderhead's on approach. Gotta go back. All right, so here's the idea. That's bad no matter who you are. Successful people don't do that. Now let me give you the Grown Black Folks adaptation to this. The Grown Black Folks Talk adaptation to this is as follows. Whether you know it or not, if you are under 75 years of age, gotta be across the street, y'all. If you're under 75, you probably went to an integrated school. And I must say that Europeans and European Americans are very, very serious about how they want their children to be programmed by the visuals they see and the information that they get just by looking at the world, to say nothing of the academics. So if you're black and you went to an integrated school, guess what? You received the impression, even if you were in a school where people just love children in general, all the concepts that you're learning, all the things you're learning are important in the world, are being mediated by people not like you. Meaning that you are learning to be comfortable being in a world in which important things happen, but you do not engage with those concepts in any serious way except learning what other people put down for you to pick up. You do not learn in an integrated school how to shape your own reality, because all the people that you read about in mathematics and history, all the examples of people that you see up until very recently were Europeans and European Americans. So you and your peers, whether you know it or not, were trained to be comfortable in a non-creative, non-decision-making mode. I was homeschooled, so it was balanced off. Curriculum, North Carolina, but by someone who was not a racist in any way. Good curriculum, excellent academics, can be a foundation. But I was homeschooled, so I was around all the dynamic people that my mom, my dad, my grandparents were around. And they were pretty serious about not getting involved with silly people. So I didn't even know silly black people existed for the first, let's say, 15 to 17 years of my life. I mean, I watched what happened outside my doors as my neighborhood was wiped out, but I was kept away from that. So it was not a reality to me until about age 15. And from age 15 to about 35, it was a very unpleasant process of discovery. The point. I was balanced in my view of humanity because I had dynamic black people and the dynamic white people that I met on the pages of the books that I read and the things that I learned. So I never learned to be comfortable not creating, not shaping my own future. If you went to a public school, both you and your peers learned that. Stop to think about it. It's not a pleasant thought. Stop to think about it. So if you have to seek broad agreement with everybody about what you're doing, you're going to be seeking broad agreement among your friends from people who also have been trained just like you. And it's, again, up to age 75, which means that also goes across generations. This also deals with your older relatives who have all been programmed to believe that they do not shape events and do not take life into their own hands. And if they do it, they don't succeed in changing anything in the world because that's what they saw. They saw that in school. They saw that on television. And on top of that, as black people, we have stories of things that happened to dynamic black people who did do things and then had it taken away by other people. So there's a fear element. So if you need broad agreement from your peer group about whatever it is you plan to do all the time, you're really not going to get anywhere. You're not. It's important. You do not need everybody to agree with you. You do not want to build a comfortable committee in which you are comfortable because the committee is already handicapped. You have to begin to do work to break out of these handicaps. Just like I'm going to have to get down this hill because that thunderhead is almost in my position. You have to begin to do work to break out of that mindset. You have to, and you're not going to be able to do this taking cues from people who don't even realize what has been done to you and them. Here's the other thing. Let me go back to the caveat and we'll end this because I'm trying to keep these short. The caveat is, and I'm going to turn around and catch this. Is there a last bit of sunshine? We're going to turn around and catch this last bit of sunshine. Here's the other caveat about this. Comfort and truth don't go together in American society and African American society either. For a long time, it was held as absolute truth that black people were inferior. That was never true. Ever. Not ever in history. Ever in the history of everness. So you really have to do work to determine what is true. Once you have done the work and you have found it, you do not need people's agreement. Let me give you the world's biggest example of this as a Christian. As a Christian, you hold as true that there is one way to eternal salvation, and that is through believing on Jesus Christ. In other words, that mankind is sin and that you are a sinner and have no way to be saved and no way to get things right with God unless you come through Jesus Christ. If that is true, and you choose not to adapt and respond appropriately to it, there are eternal consequences. Now, people have a right to believe what they want to believe. I'm not even dealing with that question right now. I'm saying that this exclusivity of truth tends to come up and hit you all over the place. 2 + 2 is forever going to be 4. If you deny this, your chances of being able to get out of elementary school are... This exclusivity of truth hits everywhere. It does not yield to people's opinions. It just is. And once you begin to learn very fundamental things, seeking agreement of people that do not do the level of work to find fundamental things is not going to get you where you want to go. So, as long as you know, and of course, to some extent, almost everything we know is a question of belief. True as far as we know at the moment. Now, I am staking my eternity on the example that I gave you, so I'm not going to move on that one. But on everything else, you do have to, even with that, the levels, pardon me, y'all, they have sirens and such. Even on that level, the magnitude of what that means is still something I have to learn about. So, true as far as you know, and even if it is just absolutely true, there are depths to it, you have to continue to learn. And as you consider to learn, then you add things to your knowledge, you put some things to the side, you pick them up. So, you have to continue to challenge yourself. And that's the other reason why you can't be comfortable in committee. Because comfortable committees do not challenge. People in the committee do not challenge each other. This is also why dynamic people in the early part of their life build these massive businesses, but then they get rich and comfortable and have people around them that are not challenging them to adapt with new opportunities and ideas, and they fall. That's true everywhere. But remember what I said. If you are black, hold on, y'all. Big time wind. Hold on. If you are black, you are again having been socialized. You have been socialized to believe that you do not need to make important decisions and do important things that shape your reality anyway. So this is even more dangerous. Do not seek broad agreement with your peer group. Seek to determine what is true. And when you have determined what is true, you will oftentimes have to walk or climb alone. Not many people of any size are out here walking around today, but here's what's true. I know I need to do it. So I will walk in that truth. And I'm going to walk largely alone, especially in my size group. Not trying to do this, but this is a requirement because I know that this is true and I know I need to do it. So just a little example of what you have to do in this world to be able to stay on the climb. All right, y'all have a good day. Bye. Thank you for watching.